He's here, and we are better late than never. Sorry about the delay. We've had some sound issues with our new streaming system, so hopefully we're back up and running, and you guys are okay. It is June 4th. It is another Friday, and we are happy to be back. Actually, I'm going to be uh, traditional work today. I have lately been getting into a lot of watercolor, and just it'd be kind of fun to sit. Maybe do a large watercolor. Dustin, show the go to the down shooter.
Yep.
You can see how big of a watercolor we're going to do today. I've got this Bison photo that Dustin shot while we were in Wyoming a few weeks ago, and I just thought, it'd be fun to just lay something in really quick, and we'll talk about light and shadow, and I'm actually going to do some experimental stuff. You can do some really great, fun textures with natural sponges, and so I've got several of these that I use every once in a while to get texture in my paintings. And this one actually, I haven't used it in a while. It's kind of crumbling, but we'll see what happens. It's going to create really nice bison fur textures. That's going to be the intent. But I hope you guys have a great week. We had a really good one. We've been cranking away on our. Let me jump up real quick. I want to show you what we've been working on. Been working on our figure drawing course, which is focused on costuming and fabric. This is one that I just did yesterday, so you can see doing some really big stuff. Is it showing up on the screen there, Dustin?
Yeah, just the feet are cut off. That's all.
That's okay. But I wanted you guys to see. Some of the things that we're doing, we're focusing on not just drawing and understanding the folds, but I also want to take you through different mediums. So we're working digitally, watercolor. We're going to be doing stuff in oil. We're going to be doing stuff in acrylic. So for those of you that work in mediums, I want to be able to cover that for you guys. And so we've had requests for that in the past. I'm trying to fulfill that for you. So this is my friend Jolt. We did this really fun this past week painting right here of him in his kimono. He lives in Japan, and I had him dress up for me while I photographed him, and we did this painting. So that was a lot of fun. So since doing that watercolor, I've really been enjoying sitting here and doing some large format kind of stuff. I want to get into it. I want to mention to you guys that we've got a sale going on today that is 50% off. What is it, Nick?
Buy one, get one off everything.
Oh, it's a buy one, get one, 50% off everything on the website. So
Everything?
Everything.
Wow.
So go on over to the website and go on to creatureartteacher.com. That's creatureartteacher.com, and everything on the site. It's going to be Photoshop brushes, courses, which include drawing courses, animation courses, storyboarding, character design, story, all kinds of stuff. It's all buy one and then get 1% off. So that's pretty cool.
Holy moly.
Yes, it's a good sale. And so anyway, without further ado, why don't we jump in? I took the liberty while we were trying to get our sound working. I went ahead and took the liberty to get the sketch done. And you can see that can you actually see the sketch on the screen?
It's a little faded, but
Okay.
you can see just enough of the lines.
I don't know how much of it you can see, but if you can see it, you'll see that I treated it fairly loose. And what I'm trying to do, when I do a sketch like this for watercolor, first of all, I know the pencil line is going to show through. That's part of the painting for me. I like that. And so I want the pencil line to have some life to it. And I'm also trying to block in not just shapes, but planes. Let's see here. In here, you can see there's a shoulder blade under here is what I'm trying to indicate. The shoulders right here. I want to indicate anatomy. There's rib cages in here, and then also planes. And the planes are indicated by light. And I try to indicate all that while using hatch marks and things like that with the pencil. And I like getting life in the line so that when I go into paint, that line is going to come through and it just adds some life to the painting itself. So with that in mind, I'm just going to go ahead and start laying color. And I'm going to use big brushes. I might even use my big 1.5-inch brush here. A big flat. I love using flat brushes. This is a number 40. So this is a big brush. And when I paint big like this, I use big brushes. And what I'm going to do is, before I start to paint, I like to get different colors set up ahead of time. So in here, I start with like a base. I want to get enough water laid in so that I'm not going to run out of paint when I'm partway through. That's a drag when you do that. Always try to make sure that I have enough. And I set you can't see my palette, but I set my palette up to warm colors on one side, cool colors on the other. So all my oranges, yellows, reds, earth tones, that sort of thing is going to be on one side. And all my blues and greens are on the other side. And I like to keep them segregated in that way so that it gives me a little control when it comes to getting down the color. So I'm just mixing up, right now I've mixed a lot of Sienna with ultramarine blue, and it makes this kind of warm gray. And I'm trying to get a little bit of violet in there too, because that's going to be kind of a little bit of a lizard. That's the color around the head. A fair amount of a lizard. There. I can change up the color as I go as well. You see that? I'm just going to go really loose because I want this to have almost a feel to it, though it's really big. And I'll change up some of the color as I go. There we go. Going to go a little darker as we go deeper. And you'll notice that everything just kind of bleeds together, which is what I want to do. And let all this just come together. I'm just going to let it bleed. Here, get in and get right in there. Color here. And now the horn, I don't want to paint over that horn, so I'm going to paint around it. There we go. There. I'm just gonna, this is just the initial, just laying it all in. And what I love about watercolor is that you can just let it do what it does. And so in here, I want a little bit more alizarin. Oh, I went a little heavy there. And so, even though you see what I'm painting feels a little bit dark, when it dries, it's going to be the lightest of all the paint that goes in here. So there's going to be much darker paint that's going to go in as I paint this. You know, with watercolor, you paint from light, for transparent watercolor, that is. And so what I'm doing here, get a little violet in here. Go. Once again, still painting with just this giant brush. The key here is to keep the silhouette nice and clean. Just like this.
Someone wants to know, what brand of tablet is this that you're using? Will it work with Procreate?
Well, no. And we got a brand new setup.
I'm not sure why, Aaron, but we're getting like an audio issue every so often. Like you'll talk and it's like you're clipping out, and I don't know why. We're working on it.
Okay. So for those of you that hear the clipping out, they're working on it. So I just want to reiterate what you can do with big brushes. You know, you can get really, you know, if you look at the size brush I'm using right here, it's big. That's a big brush, you know, and it's not in there with other colors that that you know, I'll start working with some smaller brushes. But for something like this, I'm going to let this set up, and I'm going to let it dry. The things I'm going to try doing is just coming in here with this sponge, just kind of going in and creating texture. And just like I thought, because the sponge has been sitting for a while, it's a little crumbly.
What's the sheet of paper you're using for this watercolor?
This is aquarel. Yes. Just trying to remember. Hold on. It's aquarel. This is It's 300-pound cold press watercolor paper. So it's heavy, very thick.
A question from Diana Carmichael asking, "Hi, Aaron. How's it going? What is your color palette today?"
Well, today I'm going to come in here and get a few textures in here. Just want you to see some of the things you can do here. As I go, you can see he's picking up some of that texture. What I've got going on here, I'm going to start at the bottom. I've got dioxazine purple. I'm going to start with my cool and come around to my warms, okay? So I've got dioxazine purple, followed by cerulean blue, which I don't use very much of, especially. Then I've got ultramarine blue, Payne's gray, which I use quite a bit of to get that nice deep dark. Which when we get into the darks, you'll start to see more of that. Then I have sap green, olive green, yellow green, and that's it for my greens. And then we're going to move over to cadmium yellow to my warms, cadmium yellow medium, then regular cadmium yellow light. I've got yellow ochre, alizarin crimson. I've got raw umber, and let's see here, raw umber and burnt sienna, and then I've got a little bit of very light, like a lemon yellow, and those are my warms, and that's pretty much all I need today. And so as this sets up, I'm going to come in and I'm going to hit this with a hairdryer, so it's going to sound a little bit loud. I apologize ahead of time. Whoops. What's happening in my hair?
Uh-oh.
There we go. Just going to hit this real quick. Sorry about the noise. Now once that's done, I can go in, I can start laying in other paint.
Manuel Ramirez asks, "Where's the Control Z on that thing?"
What?
Manuel Ramirez asks, "Where's the Control Z on that thing?"
Oh. Does that help a little bit? Just need to put a little bit of heat on this just to dry it up. Need to put a little bit of heat on this just to dry it up. There we go. What you're going to see an interesting effect where the blue and the other colors, the sienna and the alizarin crimson. Ultramarine blue doesn't like to mix with other colors. It likes to separate. And so you get this really interesting separation of the pigments that I really like, and other artists like to use that as well. And a little bit here, it's still wet. I got to dry that. So now what I want to do is I'm going to go in and start laying in some textures with some of these colors. Come up pretty good first.
From James Zakor, "Hi, Aaron. Love
Hey,
your
how's it
work. How did you learn about watercolors? I find that when I've attempted to use them, they get a bit muddy. Thanks."
Well, watercolor, I've been using watercolor since I was 8 years old. It's the first medium I ever learned. And so I've been using it for over, almost 50 years. And it's a medium that if you take your time and build it up and don't try to do too many colors before they're dry, before they're ready to, then you can create something that's mud. So that's what I want to try to show you today, that you can. And you need to really just let watercolor do its thing. Let watercolor be watercolor, which is It's meant to run. It's meant to blend with other colors and things like that. You can control it to a degree, to actually a very good degree. But it's also fun just to let it do what it does. Here, I'm just going to experiment a little bit. I'm going to take some color in this sponge. I'm going to start down here. And I just want to come in and start with some textures. It's one of the fun things you can do with watercolor. It's just, you can find different materials and create all kinds of textures and effects that can work for you. That's what I'm going to do here. And it's really just to get a start of some of the textures that we're going to see when I paint in the darks. All the shadows between the tufts of fur. See there? Look at that. Fun textures. I'm going to go even darker with it and do the same thing. Over on the other side. Get some Payne's gray.
From Jade Price says, "Hi, Aaron.
Hey,
Hey, I visited Cambria Zoo last week and I loved it. I shot my own references and made sketches while I was there. But I did struggle with the life sketches. Would that be because I was out of my comfort zone, not at my desk, or do I need to study the anatomy more? I'm going back in September, so I have a lot of improving to do. Thank you."
it's all of the above. It's out of your comfort zone. You need to study anatomy. It's all of those. As you do these things and you get more adept at it, it's going to come to you easier and easier. But you do need to, if you don't have the anatomy in there yet, then it's something that's going to work towards. But yeah, just keep doing that, and it'll get easier and easier for you. So I'm just coming in and adding a bit more texture with a dark color. Just having some fun with the sponge. There.
Erica Bay compliments saying love textures.
Oh yeah, this is going to be cool. Thanks, Erica. Yeah, get in there and just experiment. That's the key to all this.
That is some nice looking watercolor fur.
It's getting there. You're going to end up with some cool stuff.
This is my own question. Where did you learn this technique? Is this they just recently learned?
Oh no, I've known this for years. Just don't often. Because I like to just try to paint the textures in by hand. But I thought, you know what? To do something kind of more spontaneous, might be kind of fun to do this today.
And how did you technique? You just
Oh, I learned this from other artists, you know, as I was growing up. So all this is going to do is just give a little texture to, you know, it's going to be sitting underneath the painting that we're going to do on here. It's like a little base. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and dry that. It's just kind of a funky silhouette that we get. The other thing you can do is you can splatter your brushes, meaning, you know, just kind of whip them at the painting, and you get all kinds of splatter effects, adds texture, all kinds of fun stuff. The key is just to, you know, get in there and have some fun with it. I'm almost there. I'm almost where I'm, you know, ready to start adding some of these textures. What I want to do first is get that horn, the base, kind of painted in, the base color. Just gonna get in here, and there's some light along the left edge of it where it's all kind of just lit up. I'm just gonna let that be white. The rest of it I'm gonna paint a little bit of color here. Just color as we down in.
Manuel Ramirez asks, do you have old man problems with technology sometimes?
All the time. Yes. There we go. Get that other horn in. So, as you can see, by just leaving a little bit of white over it gives it a little bit of volume. You can see that it starts to round. A little piece here. There.
Have you ever seen a bison covered in snow at Yellowstone Park?
Oh yes, I've seen bison covered in snow and mud, all kinds of stuff. Come in now, and I'm going to kind of reestablish this with my pencil. I'm going to go in with a slightly darker pencil. This is my pencil that I really like these because it's a softer lead.
Are you still planning on doing a gouache course?
Yes. I'm still planning on doing a gouache course.
You have definitely given me a whole lot of inspiration. Mind if I call my guru?
Sure. So here I want to show where all the fur separates. And then where they separate is where you get the dark areas in between the clumps of fur. That starts to give fur volume. I come back here and up the eye again. So the painting that I've done has kind of covered up all the drawing that I did. I can see it a little bit. I want to come in and just reestablish some of the areas where we're going to have shadow.
Jade Price says, sorry I missed the beginning. But what paper is this, and is it cold press arches?
Yes, this is Arches cold press. Aquarelle, I can never say it right. Cold press, 3 pound. It's very heavy. It's a heavy, stiff paper. One thing I'm doing right now, because it's warm in here, is I'm sweating a little bit. And I'm sweating on the paper, and that's something you really don't want to do. My forearm, I'm trying to keep my forearm off the paper. Because as you sweat, you start to get oils and that in there. Nick's fanning me. So I'm going to go in now, almost like calligraphy, and I want to show you some of the things you can do. I'm going to go in with some darker paint. And we're going to start painting in some shadows. I'm going to keep them cool. Now I'm not quite go all the way yet. I'm going to go somewhat dark, but not all the way yet. I want more color. Definitely more color. So all I'm doing now is kind of hitting the texture of this guy, and I know, like, there's a anatomy standpoint, the eye, the bone for the eye socket sticks way out here, and that's under all that fur, and it's the end of it is lit. So I want to make sure I leave room for that as I kind of indicate some of this texture very loosely with this brush.
From Heather Shepard.
Hey, Heather Shepard, how's it going?
How's it going? Says, hello from LA. I have always meant to ask over the years, do you even get the self-doubt anxiety ever? I've seen you working for years, and it never seems to impact you. How you have mastered enjoying mistakes, or oh no, horrible wit voice. It's always been impressive. Your no doubt confidence. Cheers.
Heather and I, by the way, have known each other forever. I've just masked it. I have that all the time. No, I don't know. It's I'm always struggling, and even something like this. I don't know if this is going to turn out good for you guys. I have no idea, but it's not going to stop me from trying, I guess. And so that's what I guess I've gotten over my fear of failure, because I've failed quite a few times in front of people and on my own, but it doesn't stop me. And then also there's just things in life that are a lot scarier that I've already gone through and dealt with. I don't know. You just do it. But I know I've been doing it long enough that I know I've got at least something to say, and so I think people would enjoy what I've got to say, and so I come in with that with that confidence, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I still doubt myself and what this is going to come out right, and struggle.
From Stephen Marshall, I understand you guys have moved into a new home. Do you guys miss your man shed in the backyard?
No,
I
because
remember
I've
you
got
were building that.
because nope, not at all. Because we got something even better now, so I don't miss it.
Yeah, because Paul Marshall lived in that shack, and now he has a full-on condo.
Yeah. The shack in the back. So you can see I'm just painting shadow shape. Getting some blues in here.
A lot of questions over here.
You're all out?
I have questions.
That's okay. It gives me a chance to paint.
I'm not accused, so lost without you. Any questions over there, Nick? Okay.
Can't hear it.
I guess that's a no. So, just working on my way through some of these little shadow areas. I'm gonna hit that alizarin. Just a touch of alizarin.
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 Another question from Stephen Marshall. When is your next weekend event?
It's coming up. Actually, we're getting ready to announce it too. I think we're doing it in the next next 3 months. I think it is. Nick, when's our next event? Our weekend event. Do you remember?
We haven't put the date yet.
Yeah, I couldn't remember what we said.
We didn't pick a final date. It was going to be June or July. We had several.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right.
So I'm letting the shadow shapes describe the form. So as I get in here, I want all these to start doing just that, describing the form, describing the eye, the fur of the eye. Now I'm going to have darker shadows that are going to come in here as well.
Oh, this is a cool comment from Rosie Miller Clark. Says, I'm in an English pub right now watching you paint.
Right on. Have a pint for me. So the key here is to try to stay really controlled with what I put down, but actually make it feel spontaneous at the same time. So figure that out. I'm just going through and just kind of, I'm looking at my reference, but also not trying to be a slave to it and just kind of making up these shapes as I go. I'm going to jump to 1/4 inch flat, see if that helps with some of these. Should get a little more blue in here as I work up towards the shadows get cooler up in here. There we go. There we go. There we go. Over here, the shadows get warmer. The fur gets warmer. There we go. Now when I go in and hit this darks, that's when it's really going to pop. Once again, just trying to keep this really loose. Oh, is that fan coming through?
No, I'm trying to, something's like canceling out the sound. I'm trying to see what's picking it up.
So what I'm doing here is I'm just softening the edges of that horn. I'm going dark. I'm going dark.
Going dark.
With these shadows in the fur. I'm trying to stay really loose, create that texture. Just get in there and just, I'm right here, I'm just kind of brushing with it. And as this dries, I'll be coming in later with even more color. There. More color and dark. Push those value ranges. Because there's warm colors in here too. I want to get in and just see how they blend. See there, I can just lay them in there. Just let it all blend.
Yeah, you blend.
Oh yeah, you blend. There. Once again, just keeping it loose.
A question from Zone.
Hey man, Zonji.
If you need to use opaque wash in this, how would you feel? Is it important to you to use strictly transparent paints?
You know, sometimes it is just because of the challenge. That's all it really is. It's just a challenge to myself. But you know, a lot of times I'll use uh, some opaques just to get an effect for something. But a lot of times it's really just about, you know, I love traditional, um, keeping traditional and staying transparent, just by, once again, just because of the challenge of it. But it doesn't break my heart if I do otherwise. So before I get further, I'm going to get into some ultramarine blue. We're going to lay in some shadows with the big brush. Actually, let me finish up on here. I love working big like this. Fun, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You know, the only thing about, you know, when you work traditional, meaning dark over light, you got to be really think ahead about where you're putting everything. You know, I can't go too dark too fast.
Josiah Moyer says, "Hi, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going, E?
How's it going? I am a colorblind artist and tend to stick to charcoals when doing fine art. I've always been hesitant to jump into watercolor due to that. I know your brother is also colorblind as well. Any suggestions or tips on diving into watercolor as a colorblind artist?"
I wouldn't worry about it. Just dive in and paint it the way you see it. You know, I don't know if you're red, green, or blue, or whatever, uh, which color blindness you have, but I would just, the one I found as a painter is that um, chroma is secondary to value. And so what I mean is you can have anything, you can have almost anything, whatever color you want it to be, as long as the value is right. Oh, my phone's ringing. And it's probably a robocall.
I think it was Robin.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
Robin with a Y? Robin?
Robin.
So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to get in with my big brush again. I want to get in with my ultramarine. I sound like an idiot. All right, so I'm going to clean up the on my I'm going to soak up the paint on the left side here where it's nice and cool. Now, I've got a mixture of different colors in there, and I want this to be fairly pure. I want to get in with my ultramarine and put some shadows in here. I'm going to do it with my big brush. Big old brush.
Big old brush.
Big brush. Big brush.
So Roxana asks, what lesser known movies, books, plays, etc., pieces of media do you think are essential for any artist to consume?
Oh, I don't know. I wouldn't say, I don't know if that anything's essential as long as you're, I don't know. That's a good question, but I don't think in terms like that. Look at that. Oh, look at that nice blue, crazy color I'm throwing in here.
And now I'm going to paint your pants blue.
The key here is don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Kids.
Come
Get in
here,
there
my little
and
friend. Don't be afraid.
don't be afraid. So what I'm doing here is painting in shadows.
Paint shadows. Stay in the shadows.
There we go. I got to get back over here before I have any lines start to form. Like that. Get this really loose. And we got shadow up here. That's not strong enough. There we go. Get that right into here.
From Stephen Marshall, generally when you make a mistake, do you
Mistake.
a mistake? Ditch your work, or do you try to work it?
I work it out. It depends on the gravity of the mistake, but no, I pretty much try to work it out. And more often than not, work out your mistakes.
We can work it out.
Yes. We can work it out. Look at that. Loose as a goose.
Loosey goosey, baby.
Aaron,
What?
do the same color segment, the same color pigments from different brands smell different? Could people with color blindness use smell to help them distinguish color?
You probably could, but I'd rather just read the label. So, unless you're blind too, completely, I think you can just read the label.
Now, do you
But they
find
do
that
have different smells.
actually that. Although there is a difference between colors, even between brands, right? Like what Winsor Newton considers ultramarine blue might be different from what someone else considers ultramarine.
Well, that's true. That is true.
I mean, it wouldn't help you with it doesn't help the smell thing at all, but it's just, there's the variance between. Do you ever mix brands?
Oh yeah,
Like if you're painting, you'll
all the
use.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mixed brands all the time. Coming in with a smaller how to hit some of these little details. Just wanted to lay in this big shadow.
Sir, do you have any idea on how to deal with the feeling that my artwork is missing something, although it's finished? Thank you.
Well, it might be missing. You don't quite know what it is. You know, I've had that. I'd still go through that. A lot of times I deal with it by walking away from it and leaving it alone for a few days. Then come back to it and then see it with new eyes. That's probably the best way to do it. And then, you know, if I'm working on a major painting, if I think I'm done with it, I'll sit and I'll look at that painting over and over and just stare at it for days and just see what pops out of me as far as what might be lacking.
Do you have any exercise recommendations for learning how to use different brushes?
Bench press. Yeah, bench press. No, just the best way to learn is just by doing. You know, I don't. One thing, you know, you'll notice that I'm always holding my brush by the end. That's one thing I'm always doing. I don't hook up too much on my brush. I don't get in here and paint like this. I like to paint with the end of the brush and just be kind of loose with it.
Pencil lower, right?
I hold my pencil sort of like this, or if I'm doing something tighter, then I'll get in there and I'll draw, you know, traditionally. I'll let this dry. There we go.
Someone says, I'll bet in the end, but all that blue washed over the orange is giving me an attack.
Well, don't worry. Don't worry. That blue is just there to tone things down. I like to push color. And I'm going to be putting more color over the top of this still. And once again, this is meant to be really loose and quick, or at least for a painting this big. So now I'm going to get in there. I'm going to get in there. Colors.
Aaron,
Hey.
have you tried that paper with oils? Do you think that with few layers of gesso it would work?
Gesso.
Gesso.
Yes. That's a big fat yes.
How fast do you usually run out of ultramarine paint?
Oh, that's the main color I run out of first. Everyone runs out of ultramarine fast.
What is important for you in painting? Patience or knowledge?
I think with knowledge comes patience. I just snorted.
Smooth. Hey, Aaron. When you're painting with watercolor, do you have everything planned before starting, or do you just go with the flow?
Yes and yes. So you can plan a fair amount, but ultimately you just got to go with the flow. So here, I'm just, whoops. Here, you want to be careful not to scrub too much. I'm just going to let this kind of come in.
Do you have the contact information for the devil that gave you these insane artistic powers? You can find him in Georgia, playing the fiddle.
So I'm just going to start with this round. Got a big fat round brush right here. I'm going to come in and just start adding texture.
This is looking suddenly like Maxfield Parrish. Is that an inspiration?
Yes, I love Maxfield Parrish. And Maxfield Parrish, I try to paint. Maxfield Parrish painted almost like, well, he did. He painted like a printer prints. He painted, he did a layer of yellow, a layer of red, layer of blue, and he mixed as he went, glazing.
I'm new to watercolor, so any advice?
Be patient. Let it do what it does. It's not always going to do what you want it to do. It'll always surprise you. I'm not sure what we're doing today. But I wanted to do something big and loose. So that's what we're doing here. Get that shoulder blade in there. There.
What kind of brown are you using right now?
Oh, I've got burnt sienna, got raw umber. And you just slowly build up these textures. The key is patience. Just having patience. Remember, this is still not as dark as it's going to get. And I can always pull color out as well. Like in here, I'm going to get some color in. I want to lay it in. I'm going to go in with my because I don't want to do a lot of scrubbing. I want to lay it in. Now, the reason I like to bring color like this is it gives the painting more depth. I'm just keeping it loose. It looks messy for a while, but it'll slowly start to, as I work towards the detail, it'll slowly start to gain a little more cohesiveness.
Is the blue the color of you're using for the bison, or is it the color of the shadow under the...
It's the color of the shadow under the brown. It's a good question.
I came to know you visited before. May I know when was it and what was your artistical experience here?
Well, it was back in 2011. I went to National Park and Gangtok. But Gangtok is India technically, but I went through Nepal to get there, and Kathmandu, and we went there in Chitwan. We were there tracking tigers and Indian rhinos. It was a heck of an experience, I'll tell you. So here I'm just softening. I'm gonna go back in with my sponge. Hit some of these areas. There we go. You can do all kinds of stuff. Just keep building it and building it. I'm almost ready to go in with my darks.
Is the sponge dry?
Yes, the sponge is dry except for where I've picked up paint. All right, I'm gonna hit this with a fire again. All right, I'm going in with my small brush, and we're going to start getting some darks in here.
Small brush.
Small brush.
In the dirt.
Darks.
James O'Core says, "Hi again, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
I love how the piece is turning out. I had a question regarding watercolor studies. Is video studies similar to live studies? And would you still need to carry a hairdryer and follow the same procedure, which is building up the layers?"
Well, I mean, it's hard to do that at the studio, but no, yeah, I still build up layers and do things the same way. If I understand the question right.
And from Patrick McGinley, are you picking up paint for color's sake, or are you looking for a textural effect?
I'm looking for a textural effect. So here with these deep darks, I'm getting the final look. I want to get this eye just right.
And Detlef says, "I love how you still get the rounded effect through the light of the massive shoulder."
Thanks, Doug. This one's a bit of a struggle, but I'm having fun with it.
Can you do a live on portrait color?
Do what?
Can you do a live? I think it meant to say live stream. Can you do a live stream on a portrait watercolor?
Yeah, we could do that. Portrait watercolor is really hard. I struggle with that a lot, but hey, it'd be fun to struggle on camera. Why not?
This drug is real.
Yeah. Why not? So here I'm just coming in and darkening some of these textures that need to be darkened. The ones I'll just leave them. Ooh, we got some serious thunder coming in. Storms.
Yeah, that was a good one.
It was.
In the weather. Oh yeah, we got scattered all through Florida. Well, not storms. I would say more like heavy rain, like
Thunderheads.
or like to medium.
There we go. So you can see as I paint in here, shadow shapes start to define the. I like to jump all over the place.
Sir, are you not going to tone the background?
I might. I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure if I'm going to that background or not.
Where are you? We do too. Things thinking scattered storms. Currently living in Florida.
We are in Florida.
That's right.
There we go. You can see as you define your shadow shapes, and then just tastefully hit little details here and there. You don't have to hit a lot of them. It starts to pull everything together.
Do you rate artboard for watercolor? I find when I tape down watercolor paper, it still buckles.
Oh, it still buckles, but not too bad. That's why I go super heavy with my watercolor paper. Go. So this from on, it's really just about getting there and detailing out the little shadow shapes in order to get everything else to read the right way.
And Caroline is asking, do you ever bother stretching paper?
I used to stretch every painting I did. Every watercolor thing I would do, I would actually stretch it on stretchers. I would soak the paint, or soak the paper, I mean, and then actually stretch it, staple it down, and let it be like a drum. I don't do that anymore. I don't find the new. So here I'm trying to create lighter fur in front of this beard fur by painting the negative space.
Is there any animal you haven't drawn yet? If yes, what is it?
All the rest. There's millions of animals I haven't painted.
Are there any major ones people would know that you haven't done yet?
Yeah, you can name any of them. I mean, I don't know how to answer that. There are so many animals I have not painted. I don't know where to begin.
Drawn a crocodile.
I have drawn a crocodile.
An alligator.
Yes.
Brown bear. We'll
Yes.
just name all the animals.
Just name them all.
Lion, tiger, oh my.
Komodo dragon.
Yes.
Oh, did you?
Yes.
King cobra.
Yes, I did draw a king cobra when I was a kid.
A snake.
A snake.
Snake.
Mongoose.
I have drawn a mongoose. Yes, that's weird.
Ferret.
I don't know that I've drawn a ferret now. Yes.
Orangutan.
Yes.
A parrot.
Yes.
Toucan.
Yes.
A baboon.
You're a
Your butt's a baboon.
I have drawn a baboon.
And now you've drawn a leopard.
I've never drawn an okapi.
Mercapi. What's a mercapi?
Okapi.
Okapi.
It's related to a giraffe.
Really? You haven't drawn one of those?
No.
We've seen.
I mean, not giraffe. I mean, yeah, giraffe. It is.
Well, we've
related
seen
to
a copy in the wild, so I'm surprised you haven't.
I don't think I've ever seen you paint
No, we didn't
in
see
that.
an okapi in the wild.
We didn't?
We saw, what did we see in the wild? Okapis are from Africa and the jungle.
What was the big looking thing?
Yeah, those were kudu.
Oh, okay.
So he's asking, what about an octopus?
Oh yeah, I've drawn lots of octopus.
Oh,
yeah.
A magpie.
So here's one of the cool things you can do with watercolor. Once you've laid stuff down, let me, I gotta dry this again. So people think that once watercolor is down, it's down for good, and that's not true. I can go in and scrub out little areas like around the eye here, which is probably going to be too tight for you guys to see on camera. And I can lighten areas that I want lighter. Just like that, to give it like a little highlight effect.
Have you drawn a platypus? Did that on a live show?
I
Wizard
did.
platypus.
I did do a wizard platypus, that's right.
That's right.
What about jackalope?
A wizard.
Yeah, I've drawn jackalopes.
You've drawn a moose. Moose. Ray.
We're just drawing a mutt.
Yep.
A what?
A mutt.
A mutt.
A mutt.
Butt. A butt.
Killer whale.
Yes.
A jellyfish.
I designed killer whale characters, actually.
These are now people.
Hey,
found
Now
this
people
out.
are-
You also drew a beluga whale.
I did draw a beluga whale.
You haven't drawn
Now
a
people are
blue.
they're just guessing.
What about blue whale?
Yes.
Jellyfish.
Jellyfish, yes.
Sperm whale?
Sperm whale, yes. Oh, that's funny.
Golden frog.
Never drawn a golden frog.
Black whale?
Yes.
Tarantula.
Yes.
Golden langor.
No.
Black widow spider?
Yeah, actually.
Really?
I just spit on the paper.
A manatee.
Oh yeah, I've drawn lots of manatees.
Oh yeah, you know that one.
We did a manatee commercial at our studio at Disney, a public service commercial, and so we animated manatees.
Oh, really? That's cool.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. A fish.
Jimmy Buffett was involved with it.
Just a fish. Any fish.
Yes, many fish.
Salmon?
We created Brother Bear. There's lots of salmon.
But were you part of the process of the
Yes.
salmon?
Yes.
Yes,
He's drawn us in.
I drew a lot of salmon before anyone else drew salmon.
Narwhal.
Narwhals.
Manta ray.
Yeah.
Stingray?
Yes.
Horseshoe crab?
Yes, excellent.
A tapir.
Yep. Taper from life.
What?
A lobster.
Yep.
Leech.
Lobster.
I don't know if I've done a rock.
I think
I'm
we
not
made
sure.
like just a joke.
No, but there is such a thing as
I
a
know.
rock lobster.
Cockroach?
I've drawn a cockroach. I took a cockroach, put it in my mouth, and tried to scare my girlfriend, and it backfired.
Guinea pig.
Yes, I have drawn guinea pigs.
This is a video of you
What
doing
a
the roach thing, isn't there?
Yeah.
Is that on Facebook?
True.
Coconut crab.
You know, I've seen coconut crabs. I've never drawn one.
aha!
There we go. Winner.
That's a big ass crab.
Well, what about
Actually, I think that's the biggest link.
People are now puking about the cockroach in the mouth thing.
Well, apparently when I was still in diapers, I had one in my mouth, and
Yeah, you ate all the legs off it. I was there.
how's your course going? Love the painting you posted yesterday.
It's coming along. We're very excited. Very excited about it.
Yeah, we recently finished up on the watercolor form of.
Yeah, we're gonna do one in oil. Now.
Yep.
Also acrylic.
Oh, doing an acrylic one too?
Yep, and charcoal.
Charcoal. So 3 more medium. Yeah.
So here I'm just adding the dark, going into my darkest darks, creating shapes, negative shapes, the fur. Can't tell what it look on camera. 'Cause I'm looking at it such a weird. That looks great, guys. Oh, cool.
Fantastic! That looks freaking.
See, here's where you can have some fun with once you've established and your values and all that, you can go and really have some fun with the shapes for the fur. Go. You there? You can do all kinds of stuff. And then once you go in and start defining with your darks, it starts to pull everything together, see? Don't ever panic if it starts looking weird. You can always pull it together. Pull it together, man. Keep it together, man. See how much you can get done? How long have we been at this? About an hour and a half? There we go. Just give them that strong shadow, latent shadow in the fur here.
Mandy Lee, is the book still on schedule?
So we addressed this on the last stream. The book has been ordered. We have received some notice of a production delay from our printer, so we were hoping to have it shipped out by the end of this month. We're now thinking it's going to be a little bit later into July, but we're not too far off the original goals. We're going to keep everybody posted. You should have gotten an email, and if you didn't, or if you have any other questions, you can always email us at support@creatureartteacher.com.
There you go. I'm really happy with it.
Yeah, I think it looks great.
So hopefully you guys will dig it. I'm digging it.
Can you dig it?
Yeah. So just putting in the darkest darks. Bingo. Bingo. Boy. That is some thunder out there.
Thunder.
And the night.
Thunder. Caroline's asking, recommend any good nib holders?
Nib holders?
Nib holders.
No. I don't know good nib holders.
This was probably covered up earlier, but what brush and brand of paints are you using?
I'm using Winsor Newton paints and a whole bunch of different brushes. Most of my brushes, I don't take very good care of my brushes, and so I don't buy really expensive ones. Most of my brushes are synthetic. They work well.
Do you name your finished pieces? Like, would you title this buffalo painting?
No, I don't usually. I hate my paintings, and there's so many collectors that want their paintings titled. You know, people that buy the paintings. I don't know. It lends to the story. I don't know, but you know, this afternoon siesta. Painted a bison because I wanted to paint a bison. There's no deeper meaning to it than that.
The resting bison.
Slowly working my way down, getting these shadow shapes in between the fur painted in. These deep valleys. I'm trying to basically just get the essence of it. And I'm using the textures that I already put in with the sponge and emphasizing some of those. Snorted again. Slowly working my way back. I love when we get to this point and get into these really deep darks. You get in a really dark place.
It is a dark time.
There we go. And working our way back in some more. So what I would do is I basically just work my way back further and further.
This has probably been asked. Sorry for the repeat. Liking the new studio? Do you find working in a different space affects your work at all?
Oh yeah, it affects my work for the positive. My work, I'm so much more comfortable in here, and so therefore I'm able to work bigger and more confidently. And yes, I love my space. So
Is that a warm dark, a cooler dark, or is that just straight black? They
no, I'm right now I'm using a cooler dark.
cooler.
Yeah, and this dark fur. I never use black. Doesn't have enough color for me. Some people use it to their advantage for that reason, but I haven't figured out how to do that. There we go. Working our way through.
Is there a medium you've ever tried?
I've never tried casein. Yeah, there's a lot of mediums. First of all, I have never tried, but I've never tried casein, which is a based medium, which I've always found fascinating. The bigger brush here. Getting right in there with the brush.
Are there any animated movies or scenes that left you with a profound impression after watching it?
Yeah, I mean, Bambi was one of those films that did it for me. Um, Pinocchio, just, those guys were really making up. They were making it up as they went, as far as the principles of animation and all of that. No one had really established it before them, and so for these guys to come in and do what they did, pretty amazing. Just gonna graduate up to the bigger brush, see if that. I'm hoping it doesn't get. But I mean, I could sit here for the next 6 hours and do this, and I don't want to do that. So I just want to keep this spontaneous. You notice how I'm holding my brush? I'm holding it like calligraphy. Like I'm doing calligraphy. And I'm painting as if I'm doing calligraphy. I love Japanese calligraphy. And Chinese and, and calligraphy. And it's so beautiful, especially when you can incorporate it into your work.
All out to questions again.
I'm all out of questions.
So lost without you.
Just slowly working our way back. Using a lot of Payne's Gray, raw sienna.
Do you watch Japanese anime? If yeah, which one's your favorite?
I don't really watch Japanese anime that much. So I don't really have a favorite. I mean, I like Miyazaki's work.
I watch anime and I love Cowboy Bebop.
Really? I
guess so.
was going to say, people realize that.
Well, the person that answered probably knew because why do you think new artists or beginners find it more difficult to do quote unquote loose painting?
I think there's a tendency to that the harder you paint, the better. The painting.
I think it also just comes down to being comfortable with anything you do.
Yeah.
You're going to tend to be less relaxed, tighter at anything that you're not able to do. Like trying a new exercise.
Yep.
You're not going to be as free until you've done it 100 times. And then
Absolutely true. So I'm painting negative spaces right now. The spaces between clumps of fur.
Hey there, Aaron.
Hey, how's it going?
You remind me of an instructor I studied under, Mark Nelson. Ever heard of or known him?
No.
Your teaching style and approach are similar and awesome.
Don't know Mark Nelson. I'd like to know Mark Nelson. I'm going to get in here with some of the former color. Not so dark anymore. There. Mix some of these dark shadows with some of the brown that I'm bringing into it now. I've actually really got to let this dry. I'm going to bring this brown right over the top of everything. Just create another shadow there. That's what I'm going to do. Because that's what it needs.
Wouldn't you say the secret watercolor is building it up gradually?
Yes, which is exactly what I'm doing. Just build it up, build it up. There it is. There we go. I'm going to blow dry again. There we go. Get in there with some richer browns. Yeah. Actually, I should go in before I do that. Go with my smaller brush. I don't know how long this will take. I want to get you a few more patterns. Just going through and hitting some fur shapes. There we go. Trying to get that fur to transition from big and shaggy over here to shorter along the sides.
What's the difference between a buffalo and a bison?
There isn't. There's different names, same thing. Buffalo and bison. It's like an elk wapiti. Wapiti is the Native American word for elk.
Do you know a guy named Dorigo?
Yes.
To attend his animation courses next year.
Yes. He had me, he flew out to Russia to teach in Moscow a couple of years ago.
And you worked with him at Disney, right?
Yep, we worked together at Disney. Yep.
Can you overwork the paper and ruin a piece with watercolor? Any
Yes.
tips?
Yes, you can overwork it. If it's really good paper, it's hard to overwork it. Like I could keep adding and adding and adding to this and the paper would take it. The painting might look like garbage, but the paper would take it.
Would it mess you up to move your reference to the upper right of the desk just because people they can't see it, they're trying to compare the difference between the two? Perfect. Lower it a little if you want.
Do you know any brand of cheap watercolor paper but with nice quality?
No.
Or
You buy cheap, you get cheap.
can you suggest some criteria where the paper is so nice to work on? I'm a beginner when it comes to watercolors, and I wouldn't like to waste expensive paper like arches on my trial pieces. I love how this piece turned out. You really are a master.
If at some point you're going to have to just graduate up and just learn on the good paper. Part of learning is having the right equipment. And so, if you have the right equipment, you're going to learn, your learning curve is going to be that much stronger. So I recommend, if you can, getting the right paper. Only notice a difference in the way that the paper takes the paint. Now what I'm doing here is I'm laying some fur textures, but I'm going to come in with a richer brown too and lay that over the top still. And it's going to pull everything together a little bit. Matter of fact, I think I'll do it now. Getting impatient. One thing not to do when painting watercolor is get impatient. But I'm impatient now. So I want to get some of these a little better. Get textures a little better. Sienna in here. Kind of a weak color. I'm going to go really rich with this. Okay. Now I really want to get some rich color in there. So I'm going to glaze over it. In some of the places that I feel like it needs to be glazed over. I can always come back in, as you can see, with a paper towel and hit areas. There. I don't want to go I don't want to hit much with the paper towel. I don't want to scrub too much. It'll start picking up pigment.
Hey, Ron.
Hey,
Do you think you ever, or do you ever think you could get tired of seafood?
because I see food and I eat it. So this is just glazing. I'm adding a little bit of richness. And try to scrub over areas any more than I have to. Push these values a little darker and a little richer. Maintain that.
What is something that you'd still like to do? Like make another feature film or art gallery? Any big dreams?
I'd love to make another feature film, but I don't think that'll ever happen. I love filmmaking, and we're making Snow Bear, and that's definitely going to happen. And for me, it's as long as I can continue to make animated shorts like Snow Bear, I'm happy.
So I think you can make another feature film, drop of a hat if you pitched it. You just haven't pitched it.
I haven't. We've got some good ideas. I think it's just a matter of getting in there. And but at the same time, I love the life that we've carved out
Right.
with what we do. And, going back to the grind of working in the studio, I love working in the studio with other people, but I love doing what I'm doing now. I like our little studio of 5 or 4.
What is the thought process for always using the blue for the shading? It looks fantastic when you use it, but when I'm doing a watercolor, I don't see it really fit.
Well, it's forcing yourself, it's pushing, what it's doing is it's pushing the temperature, right? You're pushing what's there in nature. And so when I do that, I'm just forcing what's already there and exaggerating. So when it dries and it's, the colors that it needs to be against, it actually fits, it works. But it's just, it's forcing, I think of terms of warm and cool. And so it's forcing those cools. And then you can layer over the top, like I'm doing here. And once again, as long as you're not mixing wet over wet, you can in watercolor you can layer opposite colors, like I'm doing here. Just great effects. So you're going to see that, and we're going to end up with some nice fur effects when we get through this here.
When you were directing Brother Bear, did you ever have a scene that you wished you could have animated because you knew?
No, I love the shots that the guys did. I could have done them any better. I got to do a few shots in there just to keep my fat, and so that was nice. But all the guys that animated the stuff that they animated, I thought, man, it's genius work.
The color you're using now, is that burnt sienna?
Yeah. This is burnt sienna. Yeah, I was mix up burnt sienna and raw sienna. Raw sienna is dark and grayer. Just using the edge of this big round. So you don't need big detail or detaily brushes to do this stuff. There we go.
It's very quiet in here.
It is.
Dustin, if someone came up to you and who's the live stream and called you Dust Butt, would you be like okay or hi or sorry that is a special name for me?
I didn't know anybody picked up on that.
Oh, definitely picked up on it.
I always thought you picked up on Dusty, not Dust Butt. But I mean, be a little, I don't know. It might be a little weird. But I mean, I won't be like, "Don't you say that to me" or anything like that. But,
I'm glad you wouldn't say it like that. That's good.
but just be like, "Oh, hey, thanks for watching the show."
Don't you say that to me.
That is only my stage name.
I'm just going in and sampling some of these.
Have you thought of what to in the background?
Not really.
Are
This
you
has
thinking of
been
making it blank,
an
or-
exercise in painting the fur. I'll do another scrub a dub. And a lot of those here. There we go. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. Oh no. There, now you just come in and I'm just going to reiterate some of these darks.
In your videos that you pick detail you want the eyes to go and leave the rest a bit blurry. Is this a common practice or something you found out and became your style?
It's a common practice. It's not necessarily blurry, it's just there's different elements that you do. It's areas of contrast, it's areas of focus and not focus, like you mentioned. There's a lot of different ways of doing that. And that's a common practice. You want to guide the eye. So it's any number of ways. It's creating paths of action where you can move the eye through a certain area.
When will the course with Manny come out?
He films it. It hasn't been shot yet, so we don't really have a timeline. But other than we're hoping to have it out by the end of the year, based on conversation with
There. Just come in and touch up little areas.
I wrote responding to the whole Dust Butt thing. Said, if I met Dustin, I think I would say in my best Arnold impersonation, "Hi, how are you?" I think with that I would have responded with, "I'm fine. How are you? Nice to meet you."
And then you got to laugh at your own joke.
Like that.
How are we doing on time?
It is 3:51.
Yeah, we started. So you're at.
Okay.
We started right about
Do you start a new painting with fresh paints from the tube and a clean palette, or do you reuse the paints?
I reuse. The only place I clean is in the dish. Inside. I never clean on the outside. I just keep adding more and more paint.
Hey, where's the animation desk? To your.
To my right. Nick is sitting at it.
We'll do a
Right there.
studio tour, everybody. We'll do a studio tour. Not today. Arm mount came out nice, by the way. That all came out nice.
Oh yeah, you see the other one right there? Right there on the top shelf.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. That'll be the new mount for that one.
Nice. Nobody can see this, so they won't get this, but you should move the eagle skeleton to the arm mount, so every time you move the camera.
The big eagle skeleton.
Hey guys, just want to say, Aaron, you are the modern Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Gonna put some happy little fur over here. This is my fur. This is my bison. I can paint whatever I want.
Going to get him a nice, thick fur because it's wintertime and he is very cold. We need to warm him up with some more fur.
Gotta warm him up and keep him happy. Keep
All I need
on.
to do now is the rapid slapping of the paint on the leg. Sounds like a woodpecker whenever it does that.
There. Getting there.
Slowly yet
Getting there.
surely.
It's getting there. Once again, I like to hold, when I'm doing stuff like this, I like to, especially with fur, I like to hold my brush as if I'm doing calligraphy.
Calligraphy.
Guy.
You started watercolor painting as a kid. What brand of paint did you use?
Winsor Newton. My parents are good enough to buy me. It was either that or Grumbacher.
Rumbacher?
Yeah. Save up. Get my Winsor Newtons. Tiny little tubes because we couldn't afford any more than that, so there are these tiny little tubes. So I just do little paintings. All right.
Will you do live streams all summer?
Yes. We will be doing live streams always until we're not. We will do live streams always.
We just won't be doing live streams twice a week like we did last summer.
Right. Just hitting some darker darks. That's the one. Don't be afraid to get really dark with your pigment. Ooh, a nice low rumble of thunder.
Yeah, those are always the nice ones, like the extra long rumbles.
Yeah.
I missed a couple of live streams. You mind saying how you liked Yellowstone again?
Oh,
It was alright. Not a whole lot happened. It was very boring.
we love Yellowstone always.
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic, and I'm definitely glad I was able to take a trip out there, and a lot of bear encounters, a lot more than we were expecting to see out there.
Yeah, we always expect a few bears, but this definitely
because
was
usually
more than we expect.
and also the bear encounters we would expect to see like from a good distance away that our cameras would have difficulty, but this time no, they were we were getting clear shots.
Yeah. Well, it helps that you had good equipment this time around too.
Yeah, that and also a lot of practice beforehand. Between my first photo trip out there and compared to this photo trip.
Yeah.
All in all, it was great.
Great.
Great. Although, I could have used a little cowbell. You ever planned coming up to Canada for a similar trip?
Canada?
Canada.
Yeah. We just haven't been in a while. Just adding fur texture here now. And at this point, and just kind of looking at it, where seeing where it needs little bits here and there.
Is it true that man Timothy Treadwell went to Florida and consulted with you and your team on Brother Bear?
Yes.
If so, what were your thoughts on it with him?
I thought Timothy was an interesting guy. He was definitely eccentric. He had a lot of knowledge, which is why I brought him to have him speak. I had read his book, Grizzly, when I started the movie, and thought he could have insight when he come in and speak. And it was really interesting because he really, for better or worse, he came out and really saw these great bears as almost as human, and he attached a lot of personality to them. They would normally have anyway, and I think his biggest downfall was the fact that he attached a lot of human qualities to them. But for what we were trying to do in the movie, attaching personality like that helped us. So he had a lot of interesting things to say. And it's unfortunate. It's really unfortunate what happened. Because he was, he definitely didn't deserve to go out that way. And he was, like I said, he was an interesting guy that really meant well. And really, he loved those bears. He really did. And it's a shame that his death caused the bears several bears, or 2 bears, to be killed. I know he wouldn't have wanted that, but it's his recklessness that caused that to happen. So yeah, it was bad. But his presentation to us were really interesting. So that's about all I can. And it's the fact that he not only got a couple of bears killed, but he got his another person killed as well, his girlfriend, which is absolutely insane.
If you come to Canada, where would you go?
Oh, I don't know.
I've never been to the Vancouver area, and that's
Yeah.
over there. Have you?
No, I haven't. I've spent some time in north of Toronto, and then I keep wanting to say Acadia, the park up there. blank. I haven't been up in so long. But I'd love to go up around Vancouver and all of that. Sorry, my brain, painting my, I'm losing my brain. There we go.
I guess the person that
Algonquin. Phew.
I guess the person that asked that question lives in Vancouver because the person said come to Vancouver. I'd be more than happy to show you around.
Oh, there you go. Had a really great hike in Algonquin.
Will Nick do a short tutorial for your YouTube channel? Would love to see him draw or paint.
Come on, Nick.
Maybe someday. Maybe someday. Once I knock some of the cobwebs off.
Yeah, we'll do a YouTube channel for next year's April Fools, where it's the exact same opening, but instead of dad in the picture is Nick.
There you go.
It's part of Nick Birch. It'll just be you on the settee.
I'm just going to dress as Aaron.
Yeah, exactly.
It's not hard to do. Have you seen?
Small pillow under your.
I wanted to show. Actually, I was thinking about this the other day. I wanted to show my closet where I have all my clothes compared to my studio where we have all the equipment. I literally have like a stack of everyday shirts, a few shirts that I wear button up that are hanging, a little underwear, a little stack of socks. That's my closet. I have enough clothes for about a week and a half, 2 weeks. You can tell I put my emphasis. Because then you come into the studio and we got equipment for days.
Aaron, at the moment, I feel very behind when it comes to drawing humans. I tried to jump into it and couldn't grasp anything. For someone who wants to learn to draw human anatomy, should I start with gestures first or something else? Your input would help greatly.
Gestures help. I've got a course on drawing human anatomy. Hopefully that will help you because I break it down pretty simply.
In fact, courses on our website are buy one, get one 50% off right now.
Well, there you go. And gestures do help, but it's really understanding proportion. Proportion is the thing I think people struggle with. And then drawing from angles that are uncomfortable, that you're not familiar with. And when you can start breaking that down, once you understand the form, then drawing those different angles is not hard. There we go.
Question: will you be doing a class on squirrels, raccoons, badgers, mice, rats, etc.? Also, I'd love to see a class on how to draw clothing on animal characters.
Clothing on animal characters. Well, I'm doing a course on clothing on humans. Just take that and extrapolate it and put it on animal characters.
I mean, there wouldn't really be a difference, right? It would still be folds.
Yeah, folds are still folds. There's no difference.
What do you think of the idea of drawing like squirrels, raccoons, and all that kind of wildlife?
No.
No?
No. Yeah, we'll do that at some point.
Small mammals.
My brother. There we go. I'm starting to wind down. Not sure what else to do on here.
Blades of grass.
I was thinking about putting a little back. There are definitely some blades of grass, blades of glory.
Oh, I was just thinking a couple of like almost ink style blades of grass, like
Yeah,
keep the sparse and just
yeah.
like Sunni brush.
I'm thinking the same thing. Let's do this real quick.
Person was asking about the clothing for animals. Says, I struggle with clothing on animal characters because of the different anatomy, no human shoulders, they stand straight up, etc.
But you can fake it. Just fake it. Pretend there's shoulders there. Put it in there. Look at some of the when the look is rescuers and how they did the mice in their suits.
Oh, someone
At
Oh,
Disney.
the rescue is down under, mate.
If someone also
That's
mentioned about
terrible.
a Zootopia.
Terrible Australian accent. Crikey.
What's that, Dustin?
And someone also mentioned about Zootopia being a good reference.
Yes.
Throw another shrimp on the barbie.
Welcome Dan and
Good times.
My entire understanding of Australia is from the Outback Steakhouse. It's pretty much.
Dumb and Dumber. I'm gonna go for it. I'm just gonna do it. Here we go. Just put in a whole bunch of water. Green. Sienna. Here we go, mate. Ah, I dripped right off the bat.
By the way, our audio's been sounding like.
I'm in. Was that an Old Spice whiskey?
On YouTube asks, I'm planning on heading up to Yellowstone in a couple of weeks to do wildlife sketching and photography. I want to car camp to cut down on expenses, and I'm wondering if you had any advice on good locations.
No. Don't know. For that sort of thing, I don't know the park.
Well,
So-
I mean, just generally spotting animals, the Lamar Valley, all
Yeah.
that stuff.
As far as good camping sites, we use mainly lodges to stay close
Yeah,
to.
but they're looking to. I mean, I know Manny has camped many times, and it's there's tons of places you can just camp. I don't know.
Yeah. There are sites, I just don't know where they are.
Hard to find a spot in Yellowstone.
Yeah.
There we go.
When you get into a piece you're working on, do you sometimes just go with gut or feeling?
Always. That's all I did today. Went with gut feeling today.
Use the. Are we at the one more thing yet?
Not really. I'm kind of putting in the back. I like leaving a little bit of white between the background and the subject. Feels like a little added extra bit of light on the. Oh, there
It's
we go.
great, nice. Are you planning on filling that gap in the right corner?
No, it's too late. No, this is just a sketch anyway. If I try to fill that now, it'll get lines
Because of those
as it's dried.
gotcha.
We'll just create kind of grass negative shapes. Go.
Oh yeah, cool.
There we go.
There we go.
Aaron, can you do a video on drawing wolf skulls in different poses?
I got a whole on drawing wolves and coyotes and foxes. There we go. Someone's knocking at the door. Somebody's ringing the bell. Someone's knocking at the door.
Well, that person earlier wants to know, how would you describe Sasha as a teacher and animator?
Ah, I think he's good. Do me a favor, open the door. Yeah. I think he's good.
Do you ever paint or draw, Dustin? No, I photograph. I used to draw way back in the day, but not anymore. Oh, photography.
There it is. There's our big Watercolor Bison.
You gonna sign it?
Yes.
There's the one more thing.
I was going to go in and pull out a couple of highlights and some of the fur.
Oh.
Yeah. Oh, I just smeared it. Shh.
Sorry.
I gotta let the. I don't have. They let the.
Start with cartooning first or realism?
Realism. Started with the realism first. So here what I'm doing is I'm just pulling out areas of highlights. You can, once you put it down, you can still pull out areas of light that you want.
Is this something you would put on your website for people to purchase? I love this.
Oh, these get thrown away. These are just practice. Oh, I don't know what we do with them. We just kind of do them and forget about them. Actually,
We're gonna do an art sale here soon.
we'll do something.
We've been planning on that for a while.
Yeah, just pulling out little bits of texture here and there. There we go. The only thing I don't like, let me pull this out with this brush here. I want to feel that scapula coming around. I feel like I missed the highlight area.
The scapula.
Yeah. I went a little harsh with that. Maybe a little too much. Too much. Too much.
Not too much.
Can always soften.
Doesn't painting the background after the subject increase the risk of it running over?
Sure. That's why you don't do it. That's why you run it over. No, I mean, that's why you don't run over. Yeah, of course it increases. But I love doing the background afterwards. I like painting up to the edge. I don't like using skits. I like this look.
Tends to do his backgrounds afterwards too, I've noticed.
Yeah. There's our Bison.
There's no such thing as good enough.
Enough. Damn good. I'm gonna come around. I'm gonna look on Dustin's computer. How does that look on the screen?
Looking good.
Dark.
Got some nice saturation going.
Oh boy, that's saturated, isn't it?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
What do you think? Is that too saturated to you?
That's how. No, is that how it looks?
Well, it's got
Yeah, it's a little bit. That's way saturated and dark. Kind of cool, but that's not how it looks on the painting. Oh, okay, that's better. Yeah, see that feels better. Cool. Cool. Now the fun part. Now comes the fun part.
What's the?
We're taking the tape off.
Ah, that's the satisfying part.
That's the satisfying part.
Seeing those clean edges. Wait for the net. Make sure the mic right up against the it's being undone. Just do like an ASMR. Tinkmer.
There it is. Well, that was fun. Boom. I'll leave the bottom piece of tape on. So there you go, folks. I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a lot of fun for me. I wanted you to see, for the person that was freaking out because I put the blue on there, see? The blue just adds a little touch as you build up your layers. It just keeps everything nice and cool. And the key here is just to make sure that you keep your values and all your textures under control, and you can just really build things up very slowly. That's the key with watercolors. Build it up, build it up, build it up, and stay under control. And next thing you know, you've got a painting. So, you know what? One more thing.
One more thing.
Yeah.
One more thing.
One more thing. We need like a graphic.
One more thing.
We need like a graphic for that.
I gotta find my white wash. I don't know if I have my white wash here. No, that's not it. Where's my white wash? I want to put a highlight in the eye.
Where did the devils be white eye?
I need a highlight in the eye.
White out? White out work?
I need the light in me
Do you
eye.
have any?
No.
I was gonna say, who the heck has white out anymore? Zinc white. I got some right here.
White out was invented by.
Yeah, the monkey's, what's his name? His mom. Hey, hey, with the monkey head. People say the monkey around.
Yep.
It says, hey, I have white out.
Here you go, or the Zanji. Here's my opaque. A little bit of opaque.
And your head is right over it. There it is.
There we go.
Boom.
And boom goes the dynamite.
And boom goes the dynamite.
Done. All right, everybody. I hope you had a great time. It was kind of long, but it was fun. So we'll do more of these. And
What are you doing?
You're mumbling.
Mumbler.
there's a little bit of
Your head's in the way.
Good. Had to get on that. Well, traditional stuff like this, and I love painting big. So this is my new favorite thing is just doing big watercolors. I love doing it, so we'll do more of it. So I hope you guys have a great week. I hope you had a great week up now, and go out there and take some day and try putting it to use, and put some back into the world. And we will talk to you next. Oh, and remember, going over to creatureartteacher.com, we've got a brand new sale going on there.
Everything buy one get 50% off.
Yeah, everything is buy one get 50% off. There you go. Everything on the brushes, courses, watercolor courses,
Reference packs.
So there you go. Glad you got your plug. So creatureartteacher.com. Go on over there and check it out. Oh, and for the person that was asking about anatomy, I've got a full anatomy course there as well. So I hope you guys have a great week. We will see you again on Friday. Until then, put some beauty back into the world. Be nice to somebody. Put your grocery cart away. And I'll talk to you next week. Thanks. Bye.
Yeah, baby, bop.